everybody. Welcome back to Below Deckperts, a podcast that recaps current Below Deck seasons with two Midwest millennial siblings, typically. But today it's husband and wife. I'm Morgan.
I'm Brad.
And if you haven't noticed, Lane is not here. Lane is going to be taking a little bit of a leave of absence from the show. We are going to miss him dearly, but he is not gone forever, and he is fine. Everything is fine. He just needs to take a little bit of a break. So we went back and forth, and we thought, do we just pause the show and just resume it when Lane can come back? Or do we have Brad sit in? And we decided that, let's just have Brad sit in. I know you guys like hearing from us, and hopefully we are going to be enough. I know Lane plays a huge part in this show, and we are absolutely going to miss him, me the most. But he will be back before the end of the season. So we think he will have to miss at least 2 weeks, probably more like 3. But I think we have about 6 episodes left of this season. So he will be back towards the end of the season. Brad's going to sit in. We hope that you enjoy this. It's going to be a little bit different. 2 major things. Number 1, Lane edits our episodes. So this episode is not going to be as fine-tuned. It's not going to have the cute music at the beginning and in the thumbnail, and he does such a good job with that. We don't do that. We couldn't figure that out in a short period of time anyways. So it's going to be a little less fine-tuned and polished. And then the second thing is Brad has not been watching this season. But on the flip side of that, I think that's kind of interesting. We're going to have conversations. He picked up on what the episode is today, episode 11. I told him, you know what, just watch this one, and he's going to have questions, and we're going to talk about it, and he's going to have feelings, of course. He knows Below Deck. He knows Aesha. He's watched shows, previous seasons with Aesha and Captain Sandy, and he's not completely clueless, but he's just kind of picking up at the midway through the season. So we hope that this is going to be sufficient enough for you guys. We wanted to keep putting it out, kind of keep it going even without Lane. But again, he will be back. He is okay. He just had to step away for a little bit. So that being said, did I miss anything?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, let's get into it. We're going to see how this goes. So typically the way our episodes work is Lane and I start with a question for each other based on this week's episode. We're going to kind of keep doing that. Might be a little different, hence because Brad hasn't watched the first 10 episodes of this season. And we are recapping episode 11, From Cloud 9 to Flatline. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that means. Oh, wait, I do, I think.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I don't know if they're referring to Sandy with that.
I don't think it's Sandy, and I think this is because you haven't been watching this season. It's Ellie and Joe.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
And that was going to be towards my question of the day.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just hop into that. What's your question?
So my question of the day is, tell me more about Joe, Bree, and Ellie. Tell me about that triangle, because I don't have the context. I don't have the backstory to that. And it's like, from one episode, I have somewhat of a context, but it's not the same as watching, I'm 10 episodes behind.
Yeah, guys, isn't this fun? This is going to be fun for you to watch. So for the first 10 episodes of this season, that it has been a main part. Like, this whole season has basically been that love triangle. So at the beginning of the season, and you guys can correct me in the comments or add to it in the comments. Actually, just a side note, please keep leaving the comments, and let's inform Brad. We will have Brad read all the comments that you guys leave to get him up to date. If I miss anything and you think it's important, leave it in the comments for Brad to read so we can catch him up. But it started with Joe and Bree hooked up.
Okay.
Like episode 2 or 3, very early. Now, what they say is a hookup. They made out in the hot tub, and Bree took her top off.
Okay.
That was basically it. They didn't go back to anybody's room or anything. But prior to that happening, Bree and Ellie were rooming together, and they had kind of talked about Joe, and they were both. See, this is where it all started, and this is where it all started to go wrong. They were both kind of oh, he's cute, whatever happens, whatever. Neither one of them said, I want to go for him, can you not? basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they left it open for each other, which is where it should have ended, right? Like if one of them wanted, because both of them were like, we're not looking for a relationship. We just want to hook up, blah, blah, blah. So then Bree kind of got to him first. And then it has been hell since then.
Okay.
Ellie is second stew, Bree is third.
Okay.
So Ellie's been making her life hell work-wise, but like not admitting that. I'm your superior, blah, blah, blah. She's really been using that, like, girl,
and
you are
Ellie's
not...
been doing that to Bree?
Yes.
Okay.
And Lane and I have been saying, and the listeners have been saying, like, you're just the second stew. Yes, you, I guess, technically rank, but I guess you speak to that. In the work you do, there are ranks, right? So that would be like, I don't know, a superior officer saying I have authority over you, or someone with more years or something. It doesn't work that way.
Seniority doesn't always bring a position of authority, is what it comes down to.
Right. And she's playing it off like she has a position of authority.
Okay.
So Lane and I have really been on Bree's side. Because at first we liked Ellie. We had high hopes. But we've been really feeling for Bree because she's kind of green. Mm-hmm. She's learning laundry. Ellie kind of plays off like, I've helped you so much, but really hasn't, and that is, I guess, the short version of it.
Okay.
But now Bree has kind of told her, I'm trying to remember the last conversation they had. There was a night out where Ellie like made out with Joe in the van and Bree was in there.
Okay. Like coming home from the bars or something.
And Bree kind of stood up for herself and she's like, hey, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to say he's mine, but can you not do that? Like, that's just kind of rude.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we left off. Now they don't room together. They had to move rooms. So I think it's Gail and Ellie and Aesha and Bree.
Yeah, that makes sense because there was a part in the episode where Gail was in the room, like sitting on the floor, and Ellie was on the bed and they were talking.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we'll get to that too. But guys, if I missed anything big, put it in the comments. Let him know. That's basically it. We're kind of all on Bree's side. Ellie's not very well liked in the whole below deck community.
This is what happens when you're missing context.
Yes. But we'll catch him up, guys. We really will. I think by next week, that you'll be much more versed.
I have a feeling I'll be informed.
Yes. Well, and I was going to do a question for you, but this is kind of like a general. Since this is your first episode, what's your overall vibe? Your overall thoughts?
Of the crew or of the season?
Yeah, either one.
I feel like in referring to the deck crew, it seems like, and I don't even know everyone's names at this point, because let me see here. Because Joe would be part of the deck crew.
He's Gail, the love triangle. Gail, yep.
Nathan, and then you've got the Ian, the bosun.
Yes.
So, judging on what I've seen, which is one episode this season, I don't know how I feel about Ian.
That's how we all feel.
Is he a dimwit or is he super smart? I can't tell.
That's literally the question.
Yeah.
To catch you up a little bit with him, he has had moments of like, what are you doing? Because you probably saw they flash back a little bit of him being like, there's no one to catch the lines when they were docking and there's clearly people there.
Because the other boat, Captain Sandy's like, the boat next to us just pulled out. They have to be there. Yes. Like, you're not going to depart without them being there.
Right. So we are all that way as well. We're like, does he know a lot and he just doesn't really know how to communicate well? Or does he not know a lot? We still really don't know. We have thoughts that he doesn't make it through the whole season. But then we also have thoughts that maybe it's Chef that doesn't make it through the whole season.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you saw in the coming up on, you probably didn't, because I think that they showed it was like a preview for the rest of the season last week, that he serves fish to someone who is allergic to fish.
Ruh-roh.
So we think we're between whether Ian or Jono is the chef,
okay,
gets let go. Some of our listeners are leaning towards Chef just because of the fish situation, but we've always thought Ian might not make it the whole season. But this episode was a little bit promising. He didn't do anything bad this episode.
No, he killed it. I mean, everything he served was great. He had, we'll get to the caveat.
Well, I was talking about Ian, but yes.
Okay, yeah.
Chef's been doing well too.
Yeah.
Okay. So the topics we're going to focus on, this is what we also do. We kind of focus on topics. This episode was a lot of like charter guests. Terrible charter guests was kind of the theme of this episode. We'll talk about the Ellie and Joe situation.
Yeah.
And then just a little note, Captain Sandy loses her pup and I cried because that's just it's so hard. Anybody that's lost a pet, that it's just a different type of grief and, they're a part of your life every day. And so I thought that was really sad. We start off the episode by prepping for the next charter. Not too much going on. Like Gail, said one of her like weak points is driving the tender. So she's learning how to do that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And then she immediately nailed the docking. Yeah. Now, granted, she had good instruction when she was doing so, but like that's a huge confidence builder for her. And that's super important for, learning how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So. I would love to learn how to drive a boat.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like it's a small boat compared to, is it the Mystique? What boat are they on?
Oh yeah. Mystique.
It's a small boat compared to the Mystique,
right.
But it's a decent sized boat.
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly. It's still, and not only that, they're in ocean waters. They're not on a lake. They're not, you're dealing with surf. You're dealing with
sea,
wind.
I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, sea, but either way, not necessarily an easy thing to do.
No. And you have to start somewhere. You can't drive a giant yacht without first learning that. And she's right. That's a really good skill if she wants to keep being a deckhand. That's something you have to know how to do.
Yeah.
So, this is where we kind of get the first taste. I said, oh no, these guests are already being assholes. They're complaining about the tender.
Yeah. And
what?
How are you going to get to the boat? They pulled the boat out for a reason.
Well, what do you expect? Do you want a mini yacht picking you up?
I want a mini yacht to take me to
the bigger yacht.
The bigger yacht.
I was like, there's nothing wrong with that tender. What is it? Not white enough? Was that new enough? I don't know.
I don't know. I immediately got pretentious vibes from them and turned out to be right.
Well, I immediately got these guests want to be known as the difficult ones. And it's this is such a perfect episode, putting these people in their place. It was so satisfying. Then this is just a small note I had, but they set up a basketball hoop for that one guest. I'm like, first of all, where it was set up, there's not a lot of room.
No, there's really not. And not only that, it's he was a professional basketball player. I don't know.
One bad bounce, that ball's going off the boat.
Yep. Turn it around. Go get the ball.
I don't know. I was just really? You can't go a day without playing basketball?
Yeah. And not only that, I'd be if you spent your entire life playing basketball and playing pro basketball,
why would you?
I'm good.
I don't need to play basketball on my vacation.
The last thing that's what I did for work. The last thing I probably want to do is play basketball.
I don't know. I don't remember if they requested that or if the crew just did that for them.
I don't think they said.
Whatever. It was a small part. And then this was part of the preview of last episode, was the moving the couch.
Yeah.
Well, in the preview, they made it look get rid of that couch. I don't want it here. But in the episode, they just wanted it moved for a picture.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you think it was a big deal?
Initially, it came off as a big deal. I don't want that there. It's ruining my view.
Right.
But yeah, now that you say that, that makes sense. Hey, but I think the way that, and it could have been the edit, but I think they could have handled it different. Hey, we want to take some pictures. Can we move that couch so we can do the way you talk to people? Mm-hmm. So again, it could have been the edit. I don't know. That's
true. Yeah. Well, I think the edit was meant to make it look more dramatic, but then I was like, okay, well, they just wanted the picture, which it's really just them being, again, spiteful just to do it, because I was like, okay, I'm a little bit it's not as bad because they just wanted it moved for a picture. But then I'm like, how many places on that boat can you take a picture?
1 million.
That are probably better than that. Yeah.
Well, you're taking a picture off the back of the boat, essentially, right?
I don't know. The picture itself, I was like, I think there's a better angle you could get. I think you literally just wanted to make them move a couch because you have that power. Yeah. And they do that again. That one guest does it again. Can you go get my drink? Mm-hmm. That was sitting right over there.
Yeah, it was literally 10 feet away at the most. Get up and go get it.
That is just so pretentious, and you're just doing it to be difficult. You're not, there's no purpose to it besides you being difficult. Did you notice? So Bree was in laundry, And then Aesha comes in and she's like, hello, mental health check.
And I put something in here and I'm like, this is what I put. I'm like, Aesha would be so fun to work with. The simple things like opening the door, just like mental health check. How are you, bruv? Like, like that would be awesome. Like,
that's me.
Yeah.
I'm always like, hello.
Hello.
That's how I answer the phone, actually. So I just thought that was funny. And then we get this montage, and we get this every so often of these guests. I was like, are they going to run out of vodka?
Oh, no.
Like, truly. I was like, they're just drinking straight vodka.
Yep. Vodka soda lime. Or vodka soda lemon.
Triple vodka.
Yeah.
Like, what the?
Well, and then, like, they ask for one. She goes and gets one and brings it down and like, well, where's mine? Mm-hmm. You didn't ask for one, but I will go get it. Mm-hmm. Like, come on.
But again, that's them purposely. Like, I think I have it in here somewhere. It's probably, let's see. It was something like these guests just are always going to find something. Mm-hmm. They're the people that, like, you could bring them every fancy drink on a platter and they'd be like, well, okay, well, where's this one?
Yep.
Like, I need this one. You know, they will literally look out. Okay, you brought me a margarita, martini, whatever. Oh no, I wanted a beer. Like, you know,
or they'd be the kind of guests that would complain because like this one has slightly more in it than that one.
Yes, they will.
Like, come on, man.
They'll find anything. Yes. You can't win with these types of people. And then let's see. Oh, I it was literally like my next note. It was like, I'm afraid that. And I was actually talking about Chef. I said, I'm afraid that nothing Chef does is going to be good enough for these guests. Because that was my first thought. I was like, but he actually ends up killing it.
Yeah, he really did.
Thank God, because I was like, they're definitely going to pick out something.
Well, and he knew. Chef's been here before, and you can tell. Because not only when it comes on later to making the duck, not only does he make the one normal plate of duck, he's like, this is the extra crispy duck.
Oh, and is that did they request that? I missed that part.
No, but they didn't specifically. I think it may have been in the preference sheet or something, but they didn't cover it. But he specifically told one of the stews, like, this is the extra crispy duck. Like,
okay, because
that was like his I saw this coming kind of moment.
Okay. Oh my God, when Aesha, we'll get to the part about the fish knife. That was like so amazing.
It was satisfying is what it was.
So satisfying. But before we get to that, we'll start. This lady is not the primary. So the primary is difficult, but this other bitch.
Max, right?
Is her name Max?
She's the one that was complaining about the knife.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is where we get introduced to her. Or wait, I guess, was she the one complaining about the caviar, or was that the primary?
That was the primary.
Okay.
Tasted like a dish rag or a washcloth is what she said.
So I loved Jono for this because he's like, what do you think I made the fish eggs?
Right.
It came from a freaking jar.
Yeah.
Like what?
I guess the only thing he could have done as a chef, he got a taste. Maybe just sampling it and knowing like, okay, this isn't great, but that his options are limited. You're at sea. You've only got one vendor that can bring it into you. What are you gonna do? Yeah,
and well, I guess that would be a question for a chef because I never even thought about that. There are certain things, caviar being one of them, where they do not prep it at all. They can't. There's nothing they can do to prep it or make it better or whatever. It just is.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Go catch the fish, harvest the caviar? Yeah, like
squeeze the fish eggs out of the fish. Yeah, but it was a realization for me because I'm like, oh yeah, there are things that the chef, like nobody really has control over.
No.
Or like I was going to say the alcohol, but you do have control over like kind of like high end alcohol versus low end. But you're not making the alcohol, you know what I mean? Then this is a part you won't understand because you haven't watched prior to this episode, but last episode there was this moment where Joe was on a piano and he made like a silly song.
There was a flashback in there, and he sang something about Brie, and she's like, "How's the song?" And he's like, "Oh shit!"
It was Ellie.
Oh, Ellie, yeah.
But he sang about both of them. But Ellie's the one that caught him.
Yeah, because it was something along the lines like, "Which one's it gonna be?"
Yeah.
Ellie or Brie or something. And
hey, that rhymed. Good job.
I see. And then she's like, hey, and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, it became this whole big thing that it did not need to be, where Ellie was like mad about it. And then it was just like, come on, girl. Like, you're not actually mad about that. Yeah. Come on. But then Ellie's just magically over it this episode. Shocker, right? Like, not a shocker, basically. We knew she was going to get over it because she wanted to be with him.
Yeah. That, or I was almost wondering too, is it just because she wants to, does she really want Joe, or is she just being a pain in the ass?
Well, so that's what we've been wrestling with. My belief is she just wants to win, right? Like when you're in a competition with another girl, of course you want to prove that like he's going to pick me. But now I'm getting vibes of like, because like this episode, she asks him on a date. So what is it, girl? Is it just that you want to hook up? Or like, I don't know that I would invite a hookup out on a date.
Right.
If I didn't want them to at least be my like partner on the boat. I just don't know what she wants.
I don't think she knows what she wants.
I think she just wants to win.
Yeah.
Still. But the date thing threw me off because I was like, is that just her way of securing it? Probably. It could be that.
Yeah. Or it was a flex.
That's what I'm saying, maybe. I don't know. We'll get to that where it's like, ouch. Back to the guests being sucky. It's the fish knife part. Oh God, I wish I would have like actually written out like the exact. I said, oh my God, these people suck. But Aesha schooled her on the fish knife. You go, girl. So I wouldn't know this either. I don't think I'd know what a fish knife is. Would you?
No, I wouldn't know specifically like that's for fish.
Right. But I guess I don't even understand where it came from. Was she just trying to be a bitch?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Because she's like, oh, this butter knife. And this is what I have written exactly. That's a fish knife, bitch. And then when Aisha's like, that's a fish knife,
bitch,
then her only recourse after being proved wrong was to lash out again about the caviar.
I know. And how elementary school was that?
Well, not only that, like nothing is like, that's how petty you are.
Exactly.
Like,
you look so stupid.
Yeah, I have to win.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to bitch about the caviar.
And did you notice literally none of the other guests would even look at her? Like when she was being like that, the other guests were like, what's going on over here? Like,
well, and I kind of wrestled with this too. I think she was, number one, probably intoxicated a little bit.
They all were clearly drinking triple vodkas all day.
I mean,
if I drank one triple vodka,
yeah, I mean, that's like 3 drinks, right?
I would like be very drunk. And then if I drank another one, I'd be puking or sleeping.
Well, I hate vodka anyways.
I hate it too. I can't get on board with it and eat anyways. I can't do a vodka soda. I will never choose vodka unless it's in like a fancy cocktail made.
Like maybe like a martini or something. Like,
no.
But even then.
No.
No.
I'm always going to choose tequila.
Just give me an old fashioned.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd go with old fashioned. I'd go with just a margarita on the rocks. Never given me never going for the vodka soda. But anyways, yes, Aesha schools her.
Yeah, she does. And then there's another thing I was leading to with that is there is one point, I think it might have been either the primary, is one of the other female guests that was like, you need to calm down.
And really?
She's like, you need to calm down.
Oh, I remember that.
And she's like, you're right, I do need to calm down.
Well, that came off to me, and maybe this is just like a girl thing or whatever, when you know when someone's being like fake, like it's like she took that as like, you're right, girl, I need to calm down because I'm in the right.
Okay.
That's the vibe I got, was like, not that she was wrong, like, you're right, I need to calm down, like whatever. It was more like, yeah, or I'm gonna beat her ass, something like that.
Or you're gonna get off the boat.
Right. And then, oh God, just what Captain Sandy does is so good. So, this is something you also probably don't know, the whole Gail and Nathan situation.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Okay, long story short, again, guys, fill in any gaps I miss. Gail started this season with a boyfriend.
Okay.
From day one, you could tell she was attracted to Nathan.
Okay.
They really hit it off, whatever. Up until about this episode, or maybe it was last week, was like the first episode that her and her boyfriend broke up. So for the first, let's say, 8 episodes of this season, it was her being a little sketchy. She'd kiss Nathan and think the cameras weren't around. And then she'd be like, I'm really trying with my boyfriend. But you're like, girl, you are not trying with your boyfriend. So finally, her boyfriend is actually the one that ended it. And so that's what Lane and I would literally say, like, girl, your ex-boyfriend's going to watch this back, right? So anyway, now Gail and Nathan are kind of just like together. Okay. Like she didn't take her long to get over her boyfriend, if that
Well, that's
clears it up.
Because she was starting before.
Right. She did not.
Ended.
Exactly. So my next note was like Gail and Nathan in the same bed. Also a shocker. Like,
yeah. And I did notice that. But again, I didn't know the history there.
Right.
Because he's in bed and she just like hopped in with him.
Yeah. It's a whole long thing. But now they're basically just going to hook up for the rest of the season and then probably break up. And then Ellie has to like, Ellie gets a little, not snotty, but like with the guests, with the drinks on the top of the boat.
Yeah, they're on the top deck.
Yeah. What did they say?
They were complaining that they had been up there for, I don't know how long. You can never tell. But they're like, no one's been up here. And then that's when they send, is it Joe? They send him up. Yes. They're like, schmooze him. And
which was a good call.
Well, and they pick up on it immediately, though. They're like, are you here? Like, yeah, I am.
Like, what do you want? Do you just want to be angry?
Yeah.
You want to be angry on your vacation? Mm-hmm. I don't. You couldn't catch me angry on a yacht.
No.
Like... So, I don't know. It's those kind of people. They're literally just choosing to be angry. And yeah, okay, you picked up that like Joe was coming up there because you're being bitches to them. What do you want? You want them to come up and be like happy-go-lucky with you? No, I'm not doing that.
Well, not only that, like the Stews had enough at that point.
Right.
And Aesha knew that, and she's like, Joe, go up there, like keep them company. Give us a minute to get our stuff together.
Right.
Give us a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
So that was a good call.
It was a very good call. Like one that I probably wouldn't, because I would have probably been a little bit more irritated. Like, no, let them sit up there. But that was a good call. Yeah. Like, Joe, please go handle this.
Well, and then she even said before she came back down, she's like, I will be back to check on you every 15 minutes.
Right. And I think that's where they're like, you know, like, because they made this snotty comment, like, why don't you just bring 3 drinks because we're going to be up here for a while? And she's like, actually, we'll come and check on you every 15 minutes. Yeah, it wasn't even snotty. It was just like...
Well, it's like it's just the unreal expectation. Mm-hmm. Like, look, we just fed you a full meal. We're trying to clear the table. We're trying to get all the dishes sorted. We're trying to get things prepped for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've got things to plan.
Oh, they don't care.
Nope.
Everything's about them.
Yep. And it's like, not only that, like you guys are drinking like a bunch of fish, and now God. I have all these like, not only do I have a stew basically dedicated to making drinks for you full time, now I've got to clean all the glassware that you're using.
God, could you imagine?
Yeah,
you never think about that. Mm-hmm. You never think about how much they did show us, I think it was last season, like Chef Anthony, like how many dishes he used. It was like excessive.
Yeah.
But like, oh my God, just how many dishes have to be done is crazy.
Oh. And then like we're missing the little stuff and not so little stuff. Those balloons.
I know.
What a pain in the ass.
I know. That's true.
And they never even really played a part in the episode.
You're right. Because the guests left.
Yeah. So they had to bring them from the shore on the tender.
Now I'm confused because they said they wanted a fire and ice party, but did they even have one?
They must have, but like we never saw about any of it.
That's a good point. I literally didn't even think. The only thing it was the arch and then the dry ice smoking things.
Yeah, that could have been it, but we never.
That was it.
Like, they drug those things around. Like, they had to bring them. Like, we're going to put them in laundry. And like, that's not happening. It's like trying to shove an elephant in a telephone booth. Like, it's not going to happen.
I did not even think of that. Oh my God, all that work. Mm-hmm. God, just so.
And then they had to bring them up the spiral staircase.
Yeah.
But at least dear Aesha, she's like, I thought I was going to have to blow these all up.
Could you imagine if she would have had to do that?
No, because that's a lot of balloons.
Well, those arches cost like $500.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's a drop in the bucket, though, for what they're making.
Right. Oh, my God. Oh, and then the guest fell down the stairs, and I was like, yes.
Was that karma?
I was like, yes, fall down the stairs.
I was waiting for her to blame the boat. Yeah. Blame, like,
who put these stairs here?
Are these stairs regulation size or what?
These stairs were wet.
Yeah.
Who didn't clean this up?
Yep.
Like something like that.
But she did.
You just look stupid. So we're at the next morning. Did you see that spread for breakfast?
Yeah, I have. This is what I. Can I swear? I don't even know.
Yeah, you can.
I was like, that breakfast fucked me up.
Like, can I swear?
Yeah. Just confirming.
Guys, this is going pretty well, right? Yeah. Yeah, that he made like everything. That's like my ideal breakfast.
Yeah. And then, here's the other thing that kind of pissed me off, and maybe it's because like I was being petty at this point, but so the night before, she's like, I want fish. Like she's hammered, right? The chef is in bed.
Oh yeah, what did she want him to make?
She wanted fish, and Aesha's
Who wants fish in the middle of the night? You psychopath.
Like, okay, first off, if I'm like hammered, I want like pizza rolls or mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
Or something like
chicken nuggets.
Fish.
You want a fish for your late night snack, which, by the way, it felt like really close to after dinner, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was later.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
But then Aisha's like, oh, the chef, like, he prepared for this. Like, he's made you sandwiches. And even the husband, he's like, I don't think I've ever seen her eat a sandwich. I'm like,
well, then you married the wrong person because sandwiches are great.
Well, and then she's like, I'll just take berries.
And then she fucking leaves.
Yep, and then she leaves, and he's like, and even the husband's like, at least stay and eat the berries.
She's like, nope, I'm just going to be difficult.
But then the thing that pissed me off was the very next morning. I want berries. Well, she immediately comes out, and she's like, I'm hungry. So Aisha's like, or they're like, okay, we'll jump on breakfast. So it hits the table. She's busy taking her Instagram photos for like, God knows how long. The food's just sitting on the table. She comes over and she's like, can I have berries?
Oh my God.
And I was like, this bitch.
I know. Seriously. Just to be difficult. Okay. I said they're going on an excursion. Bye. I'd be like, bye, bitches. Don't come back. But yeah, it was like it wasn't like the Parthenon. It was like some sort of like ancient ruin type thing. And poor Joe prepared all these facts. And again, this is just them being assholes, right? They're like, are you going to have facts for us? Are you going to have... And he's like, yeah, I actually do. And then once they get there, they're like, okay, bye, we're going to take pictures. Yep. Take my picture.
Typical, right?
I hate people.
Yeah, people suck. I used to be a people person, and then people ruined it.
Exactly. So yeah, that's that. There's really nothing else to that.
There is.
Okay. Oh, the Ellie and Joe thing. I guess I didn't even write that down because I was just like, whatever.
Well, it's only funny because when the guests are leaving.
Oh, wait. We skipped over the Captain Sandy part.
We did, yeah. So let's go back to that.
Okay, we got to go back.
That was great.
I was thinking that happened later, but it happened right before the excursion.
Yeah. So what we're referencing is the part where Aesha approaches Captain Sandy and is like, these guests are a pain in my ass. And Captain Sandy's like, Aesha, I got you. So they're all standing around the bar.
Yeah.
And Captain Sandy tells them, she brought up a good point. This is exactly what I have written. I'm like, Captain Sandy, more like the Donna, which is the female mafia boss. And I was like, El Jefe, that's diplomacy at its finest. She pointed out a good fact, and I don't think that a lot of us have considered this. The owner of the yacht probably has more money than you do. Mm-hmm. They own the boat.
Absolutely has more money than you.
Think of it this way. They own the boat. You are renting it. They don't need your money, and you are not important.
Exactly.
It's simple fact. And it's something I hadn't really considered. I'm like, you know what? That's a valid point.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. I don't think Captain Sandy could have done that better.
No, I don't think so either.
And I wouldn't have even thought to use a hypothetical to put them in their place.
Yeah. Because that was probably a situation that may or may not have ever happened, but it was Captain Sandy just being like, look.
Yeah, that's true. She might have made it up.
She mommed them is what she did.
Yeah, I said she gentle parented them.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did.
And of course, then that bitch, the fish knife bitch, is like, I'm over this conversation. Mm-hmm. Of course you are, because you are embarrassed and you look stupid.
She was me. She'd have been over the freaking sidewall of the yacht, but whatever.
Okay, so then they go on the excursion, whatever. And Ellie kisses Joe on the cheek. They take a picture. You have anything else to add there?
No, just at the end when they're getting ready, when the guests are leaving, and he's like, oh, the lovebirds. Uh-huh. And then you look down the line, and it was Ellie like, that was the best part. I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, my God. Well, kind of taking a hard right turn. This is when we find out Captain Sandy's... Bailey passed away, and... she just kind of talks about like being out on the water, like being out, like you deal with loss. Like she said she lost her parents and she was out at sea, and that's just kind of something that like they have to cope with that like we don't think about.
I think it's it's been a thing from the beginning of time, right? Like ship captains, like things happen. It's no different for, people who are in the Navy, and it's just things happen while you're at sea,
Yep.
You can't just pick up a phone and be like, hey.
I know.
It's just not how it works.
I know. So it's sad, and I'm glad Aisha's there to talk to her. And but yeah, losing a pet sucks, man. And it doesn't matter, how long you had them. Like, they're They're part of your daily life, you know?
Because Captain Sandy had said she got 5 years with Bailey, but is it her wife now?
Well, I think at this point yes, it's her, as of today, they are married, but I don't think she had asked her to marry her at that point yet. Okay. So it's her girlfriend at that point, I guess.
Girlfriend, fiance, whatever. Yeah. But either way, and she's like, Bailey had been with her for 11.
Yeah, I know.
So that sucks.
I can't think about it because we've had our dog he's 8. Mm-hmm. So every year that goes by, I get a little bit more like,
yeah,
I can't think about it.
But then I also have, on a lighter note, I'm like, again, we see how awesome Aesha is.
I know.
So
she's so great.
Yeah. Be more like Aesha.
I'm worried. Somebody, I think in the comments said that Aesha might not be back for Down Under.
Oh no.
Which is like what she should be on. I'd rather her not be on Med and be on every season of Down Under. Is that? She's Australian. Or she's from New Zealand, which I associate with Down Under.
Same area of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. So we're kind of getting to the end, and this is where we have the realization, or Joe has the realization with Gail and Nathan, that he doesn't want either one of them. Are you kidding me? Like, you're actually kidding me, right?
No, it's
you
not
don't understand the gravity of this because you haven't been 11 episodes of this bullshit that he has partly caused, and now he's going to be like, I don't want either one. What?
That's not really what he said.
Okay.
What he was subconsciously saying is, I want all of the fun parts,
but none of the bad ones.
And none of the bad ones. I want to make out. I want to take you to bed. I want to do all of the fun stuff, but I don't want the drama. I don't want to date you. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Well, that's what we see, right? So, well, before we get into that, the guests leave, and I put, and the guest has nothing bad to say. Cowards. You fucking cowards.
It's because you're like, Captain Sandy's gonna kill you.
Yeah. Well, and I think truly they wanted to be those guests that were difficult.
Yeah.
But then they also realized, if Captain Sandy doesn't want us back, we're not coming back.
Yeah.
So you have to walk that fine line of being entertaining enough to have Bravo like you, but Captain Sandy can't dislike you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Well, and it also wonders too, because there's another dynamic there too of, we didn't really see a whole lot of the primary, and the guys on the charter.
Oh, we saw none of the guys.
I know the guys were.
They seemed fine.
Yeah, at face appearance with what was shown, like they were easygoing. Mm-hmm. They were not difficult. They were just like, we're here to have fun. Like, get the jet skis out. We want to have fun.
Well, when you're steamrolled by women like that, that's kind of the personality you have to have.
But I'm almost wondering if there wasn't a conversation of the primary, like, you're here because of me. Get your shit together, or this isn't happening again.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know.
You don't know. We basically only saw the primary girl and then that one fish knife girl. Yeah. That's her name, fish knife girl.
It's fish knife girl.
So the guests leave, and this is where Ellie asks Joe on a date. Oh God, it's so bad. He doesn't want to go, but he says yes initially. And I said, good, he deserves this. I'm glad he's uncomfortable. And then Joe and Nathan are talking to each other on the jet ski.
I know, and that part cracked me up because I'm like, I have it here. I'm like, the jet ski talk between Joe and Nathan. That's a bro move. Together they crack me up. Like, that's some shit Lane and I would do.
Yeah, like holding their hips, each other's. But yeah, that's really funny. That is something you and Lane would do. So yeah, basically Joe says he doesn't want to go on the date. Nathan kind of says like, dude, it's like an hour out of your day. Like, why don't you just do it? Which I thought that's what he was going to do, but turns out, Nathan says she's going to fucking kill him.
Yeah, she might. It's not over yet.
And you know why she's going to kill him? It's not because she would be mad that he doesn't want to go on the date. It's that she'd look embarrassed. Yeah. Like, it'd be embarrassing, and that's why she's going to kill him. She doesn't actually care about him that much.
Right. No, she doesn't. I don't think either of them do. I think they are. I think they're all like low key on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't want to admit it.
I don't. We'll see what happens. Well, and we'll see. Again, we're getting to the end and the coming up on, and I'll tell you one thing that's coming up. Captain ends up not being mad about the lovebirds thing, which I thought she was going to be more mad about that.
Yeah, and it was funny how she addressed it in like the debrief.
Yeah.
It was just like, who is it? And
yeah.
they're all like,
I thought she was going to be like mad because being like, hey, we shouldn't be doing that. Well, she kind of does say.
Yeah. Like, let's keep it professional.
Right.
Like, she mentions that. Yeah.
I guess I didn't see her being like mad about it, but I thought she'd be like, tell me who it is and like cut that out. But she kind of laughed it off. So,
but I mean, that would conflict with what she says earlier, like taking their character and their spirit from them makes them not want to work. So I think
that's true. That's a good point. It's a $20,000 tip. Not terrible for a short charter because that was only one overnight, right?
Yeah, and it was like what, $1,400 a piece is what they made.
Yeah, I mean that is a really good tip for just one overnight.
Yeah,
like 2 days, one night.
I mean, it should have been more because they were a royal pain in the ass, but
it just goes to prove that I'm never gonna be able to afford this.
No, I mean the tip maybe.
No, I can't even afford the tip.
Do better
Unless I split it with 10 other people. No, probably 20 other people.
Yeah.
So bad. Bravo. Come on. I'm never going to be able to afford it on my own.
We'll sleep like where the engineers.
Yeah, that's true. Sleep. Yeah, just put us down there. That's fine.
We'll come out at night when everybody's in bed.
We only come out at night. You're only allowed to come when the sun's not up. Just gremlins.
Yep.
So yeah, we end the episode with Joe fucking telling Ellie he doesn't want to go on a date.
I know.
I'm so interested to see what's going to happen.
Well,
she's going to be embarrassed, clearly. Like,
but then you go to the preview
of him and Bree hooking up. Yeah, because that's all he wants, right?
Yeah, but wasn't it Bree? Bree was the one who asked him on the date.
No, Ellie was.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. I'm 11 episodes deep in this. You're only one.
I'm trusting you.
It was Ellie that asked him on the date. And then Bree's the one he hooked up with in the preview.
Okay.
Yeah. That we see. We're pretty sure they hook up. 6 episodes left, according to my calculations. The coming up on also shows kind of a lot of rain, storming. So we'll see what happens there.
And it looks like we got some mechanical or structural issues.
Flooding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. They always like to hype that up, but maybe it is a big deal. The one thing they didn't show that you wouldn't have known, we are going to get another stew.
Okay.
So that's going to be a whole thing because Joe seems interested in this new stew.
Oh boy,
Curveball. For probably like I'm guessing the last 5 or 6 episodes of this season, they'll have a fourth stew, which you don't know, but they should have had 4 stews to begin with.
Right, because Aesha mentions that in the episode, like we're a stew down.
Yep.
And a lot of laundry room drama.
Lots of lunch. You've missed a lot of lunch.
Yeah.
I'm glad there was none this episode because that's all we've been talking about for the last few episodes, it seems. Bree cannot get it together with laundry. There was accusations that Ellie was sabotaging her, like messing up the laundry on purpose to make Bree look bad. Like, I'm glad that hopefully we're over that.
Yeah.
So.
I did want to point out one other thing. They showed that brief like montage of Aesha, like everybody is in bed and she's like doing the dishes, she's doing the laundry, like hats off to Aesha.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah.
Up till like 2 or 3 a.m.
I know. Like that's what a leader's supposed to be. Like
craziness. She's probably getting like 4 hours of sleep max.
And it looks like she was up at breakfast.
I know. Oh my God, I know. Yeah, so that's basically it. Did you have anything else that we didn't get to you wanted to chat about?
I don't think so. Let me review my notes, really quick.
What do you guys think? I think he did pretty dang good for just coming in for one episode. And so, yes, this episode will not be as edited like we said. Won't have the fancy intro, but we are hoping you guys stuck around with us. I think Brad's doing his absolute best, and I'm really happy that he's here. And we're going to keep giving these to you guys weekly. The secret word, which is something we do, I don't know if you know, like Lane gives a secret word at the end.
To put in the comments.
Yes. What should it be? Should it be like "We love you, Lane" or something? So he can read the comments and see that people miss him. So say nice words for Lane as our secret word. But he is completely fine. So do not worry about him. He is fine. He just needs the 2 to 3 weeks break. He will be back with us to finish out the season. So anything else?
Nope, I have nothing else.
Thank you guys. I want to just call out thank you. We've had so many new subscribers. We hope you're still with us. Keep liking, sharing, subscribing. We love you guys. The past 2 episodes, we've hit over 1,000 views. And that's why we wanted to keep giving you these episodes as well, is that like you guys have shown us so much love. So we don't want to just kind of cut it off. So we will be here week after week, and Brad will be here next week, and we'll kind of keep you updated with Lane. We should have a better idea of like when he'll be back, but Brad will be here with us next week again. All right.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.